So I wanted to go through the process that I used for making the main menu for A Thief's Way. The first thing that I did was set up this little environment, and I wanted to represent a door or an archway to closely relate with the core goal of the game of escaping and the game's themes. So I used the models of the ground and the wall, and I made a separate model of just this top bit of the wall to make the top part of the door. I then added in a directional light and angled it so that it would be shining through the doorway. And then I set the color of that light to a purple so that you can have this sort of purple glow. I set the main camera to have a solid color and added a dark sort of black purple color. I then positioned that camera so that it would have sort of this angled view of the door. Here you can see this camera here. And then what I did was add in a canvas. I added a panel for this canvas, and I removed the actual the sprite of the panel, so I wanted it transparent. I didn't want there to be any sort of shading or anything. I just want it to be clear. I sort of use this as like an empty game object so that I can attach UI elements to that panel. I then added in a image for the game's logo, a title, and then 3 buttons for the play, credits, and exit. For these buttons, I actually removed the default square background and set it up so that you can click on the actual text themselves. And to do that, what I did was, I'll just show you quickly. So you can add in a button and you'll get this default Unity button. And here it says on this button script a target graphic. So you can set this to the text of that button. So you should go in and you give this a different name so you can identify it. And then go into here and set it to the button text. You then can just delete this image script here, and you'll be able to select that text there as its button. So that's how I did the buttons for the main menu. I then gave them highlight colors and a press color to sort of give the player some feedback when they're hovering over it and when they've selected the text itself. I then also added in a second panel for the credits, and you have a title of the team, and you have all the team members and a button down the bottom so that you can return back to the main menu, which is just activating and deactivating these different panels here. So that comes down to the functionality. So what I did was add in a empty game object of a UI controller and added in a script. So for this script, I made a reference to the title panel and the credit panel. On start, I made sure that those panels are set correctly. So we want that title panel to be true and the credit panel to be false. I then have the methods for each of the buttons. For these buttons, I have on-click play, that loads in the main scene. On-click credits, that deactivates the title panel and activates the credit panel. On-click return, this is the button that's in the credit panel. That one just reverses what the credit panel does, and it just reactivates the title panel and deactivates the credit panel. Lastly, we have on-click exit, and on-click exit button, it will quit the application. So when you want to add in functionality to buttons, what you have to do is you must have this game object that has the script on it, so that when you go into the panel, you'll have this on click, and you have to drag in this game object of the UI controller, and that will find the script, and then you can then find that functionality and add that functionality. And that's how I did that for all three of these. It will have, you know, the credits, and then we've got the exit, and we also have the return right there. And just to make sure that you refer to these, drag in these the panels into the reference here, or you'll get some errors. And that's how I set up the main menu. Thank you for watching.